Hey guys, welcome to a new video on the channel, and in today's video we'll be making the dress that you saw on the thumbnail. This looks like something you've been interested in learning. Please continue watching. So guys, for this dress, the first thing I did, because we're going to be drafting it, I had to attach my paper at the bottom because my paper is not long enough to cover the full length of this dress. Even at that, it might still not cover the full length of this dress, but this in inches is 54 inches. So my paper is already also folded because we're going to be cutting the two parts of this dress. Let me turn my paper to this side. So we're going to be cutting this dress into two sides. So guys, the first thing we're going to do, as usual, is we are going to measure our shoulder and the neckline, as you can see. So for this shoulder, I'm going to be using 16 inches. So we're going to mark it on the 8th line, just like this. And then we will also go on to mark out 3 inches for the round of the neck, or you can decide to make yours 3.5. So let's make it 3.5 here. So for this, we'll come down on this neck area by 3 inches because the neck is not so deep. Now on this part here, don't also forget that as usual we dip our shoulders by 1 inch, and this is the 1 inch. Now let's go on to join these points together. Guys, this is what we currently have for the top of this. Now on this part here, we're going to take the shoulder down. We're going to measure the chest line. Here we're going to be using 8 inches. Now as usual, we always come in by half, which is this 4 inch, and then let us also draw out a straight line there. So this is what we have. Now on this point here, we're going to now go on to mark out each of the body lines, just so that it can also help us in drafting out this paper, this style well. So since we already have this as our chest line here, we're going to mark out the bust line also, of which this should be the bust line, and then this here is the under bust line, and this is the waistline. So from this point here, we're going to add 9 inches. This is 3, and so this here is where our hip line is going to be. So now we'll go on to also make straight lines on this. So now we're going to label this also. This here is our chest line, this is our bust line, this here is our under bust line, this here is the waist line, here is our hip line. So guys, as you can see, this is what we have this is what we have marked out. Now for this, as usual, we come in by ½ inch on this point. This is what we have. Now let's, as usual, make our curved line. So this is what we have for our shoulder slant as well as the shoulder point. So guys, on this point here, we're going to go on to mark out the body circumference for this dress, just as we have it. So guys, now that we have marked out the body circumference on this dress, just as you can see, we'll go on to connect it. Use a marker just so that you can also see what we are trimming out. So guys, when we open this, this is what we have for this dress, just as you can see, like this. Now before we go on to work on this dress, we're going to first cut out the back, because the moment we tamper with the front part of this dress, you might not be able to. It will take a lot of sellotapes for us to get it back. So first thing we'll now also do is to place this on a back piece and now cut out the back piece. So for yours, you can choose to cut out the back of the fabric directly first, and then just so you can only use just one drafting paper for this. So guys, in the making of this dress now, because if you notice this dress, one sleeve is one side of the dress has a full sleeve, the other side is armless, just like this. So it was just cut out like this. So you actually do have two options. The first one is that you can choose to put your zip on the side of the dress, just like this. So you can have your zip on this side of the dress, meaning that for the back side you wouldn't need to cut out a zip allowance. All you just want to do is just to curve it out, just so that you can take away the back bulge on the zipper part of, or the back side of this dress. But if you want to place a zip allowance, you would have to now cut for a zip allowance. So the fine side with this dress is that it gives you two options to either put your zip on the side or your zip at the back. So for this one, let us have the zip on side. So if we have the zipper on this dress, we will not necessarily need to cut out a zipper allowance, but for this, let me just still place this just so that we can use this to take out a zip bulge at the back. So guys, for this dress now, we're going to be having the zipper on the side. As you can see what I'm doing now, I'm leaving a very little allowance on this side. This is just like a quarter of an inch. I'm just leaving very little on this side now. So I'm still going to trim using the same measurement. So you can either use a sellotape to hold this down, or you can pin it down depending on what works for you. Now for the next side, we're not going to be having the same depth in the neck part. So for this neck place here, instead we're going to be coming down by 2 inches. So this is how deep the neck is going to be for us here, and this here is where it started from. So now I'm going to take it out just like this. So guys, this is what we have for the neck part. Now we'll go on to trim. The reason why we don't have a zipper allowance is because we are having the zipper of this dress on the side. So we're taking out our waistline on this point just so that we can also use it to take out the bulge on the back of this dress. So for this here, we are going to mark out the waistline on the back, and this is our waistline here. So let me just put this as the back, just so that we don't mistake it for the front also. So this is the back of this dress. Now on this back place here, one thing we're going to do is we're going to come in on the waistline by 1 inch, and this is so that we can take out the bulge on the waist side. We are going to take this into this measurement just so that it can take out the bulge on the waist side. So this is what we do. And then we'll do the same thing for the hip side. This is what we have for this zipper to take out the bulge on the waist side. So we'll go on also to trim this out, because when you're making your dress, you don't want it to have that fold, and so this is what is going to take out the fold at the back. Now we'll just also trim this out. That bulge is going to be taken care of in the dress, looking like this. So let's just go on to make arrow marks here and here. So this is what we have on for our back part. Now we'll go on to also keep this, by the way, because we are literally done with the back part. So guys, I just actually realized that I was cutting on my under bust line and not my waistline. And so now I'm actually making the correction, please, to cut on my waistline. So please don't be like me, make sure you extend your waistline and then cut out on your waistline. So I'm going to now trim this out here, and then please also make the correction on your back piece. Then put it something that can be corrected. Sorry. So this actually is what we are working with. This actually is our pattern. Please don't forget to also correct this on your own drafting paper, or just don't make this mistake at all. Open our pattern, because now we want to take out the part of this dress that has the white patch, the front of this dress that has the white fabric. Now the first thing we want to do is to mark out the hip line, because it stops on the hip line. So guys, now this is the hip line of this dress, just as we have it here. This is the hip line, but for the sake of this, we'll be extending this by 4 inches or 5 inches. Let's use 5 inches below the hip line. So this is what we should have here. So we are going to make our marking here. So this is where that white stitch pattern is going to stop. Now for this one, we'll come to the top of this here, and while this is the middle of the neckline, it didn't start exactly at the middle, so we are going to take it by 1 inch to the right, and this here is where the whitish pattern is going to start from on this fabric. So we're going to take it here. As you can see, it was also curved, so we're going to have this start on 1 inch towards the right. Now we also come to the bust line of this. We want to get the middle of the bust line because it is going to touch on one part of the bust line. So for this here, we have 19.5, and the middle of 19.5 is 9 is 18. So the middle of a 19.5 is this 10 half and quarter, or 10 3/4 rather. So it is 10 3/4. And now we're going to take out the middle part, or the bust point line. Now it depends on what you use for the bust point. If the bust point, meaning that the nipple to nipple measurement is 8 inches, if it is 8 apart, then we're going to mark it on the fall line here, meaning that it is now going to curve like this, as you can already see. So you can see that our shape is already beginning to take form. So it's going to be on this line. We'll come to the waist part of it, and this here, this is our waistline on this line here. Now one thing you're also going to do is this here is the middle point of our waistline. It didn't also touch the middle of this, so we're going to either take it using 2 inches or 1.5 inch, but let's use 2 inch for this waist part. So this here is where the line is going to touch next, after which we're just going to make it a straight line from the waist side down to the end of that our 5 inches which we measured. So now let us just draw out our straight line. This is what we have. Now we'll go on to curve this out to ensure that it touches this point just as we have it, and now we'll curve it to meet the neckline. So guys, this is what we have for that shape that was cut out. Let me mark it out boldly. So guys, now this here is what we have, as you can see. Now we're going to go on to cut out this part of the dress as we have drafted it out. So guys, this is that piece of the front there. Now we're going to keep this aside, and now this is the part of the dress that we're going to be working with. And the first thing we want to do is to extend it from this 5-inch line down again into the rest of this fabric, just like we have like this. Now guys, on this place we're going to go out and mark different inches, because we are going to trim this into the dress just so that we can extend it openly. I'm not using any particular measurements because, as you can see, the fabric was not pleated. It's not so very aligned, just like that. But also just make sure that you give it good spacing, and this is going to take a bit of your time. After making a mark, this is what we have now. We're going to extend this into the fabric. Notice that now we've drawn out our slant lines, and towards the waist it started moving just like this, and on this line here it did not extend beneath this line. That's because if you also look at the bottom of this dress, it looks straight. This did not extend past this line. So this is how we are going to cut this. Now we're going to go on to make out our markings. and we're going to go on to cut out these lines that we have traced. So guys, as you can see, we have trimmed out this, and this is currently what we have. So what we're going to do for this is we're now going to place this on the actual fabric and now spread it out. So please ensure that when you're spreading it out, it's actually covering enough ground. Now for this one, I'm unable to tell you that you should use maybe 1 inch in difference, because this is going to be very stressful, especially because this is a lot of fabric. But just make sure that you spread it out enough for you to cover enough fabric, just so that you have enough things to squeeze in when you're trying to pleat this. So guys, this is how we achieve this. And please also make sure that when you're doing this, you also leave a 1/2 inch, because you're going to be attaching it to the other part that we cut out. You're going to be attaching it to this part, and so for this one you're also going to be adding a 1/2 inch in, so a 1/2 inch of allowance on this part also. So guys, this is what we have, and now we're going to spread this out just like I said we're going to do. And now you're going to use a sellotape to just tape this down and go on to trim out. And then as usual, when you're making this, you're going to pleat everything back into place, almost like as if you didn't even trim this to begin with. And then you're just going to attach this onto the side just like you have here, and you can decide to actually put in that embellishment that was used to design the middle part. So guys, for this video I'm also going to link my video on how to cut a basic sleeve, just in case if you have not yet seen it. And so thank you for watching this video. Please ensure you like and subscribe to this video. You can also leave your questions in the comments and I'll make sure I get through to them. And so guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.